this urge, and he didn't know it was a man that was behind it. But like Yoruba people will always say again, it wasn't because he was drunk that he had now to pounce on another man and violate him. So the law, as anthropologists will put it, change is the only thing that is permanent about mankind. The law is always evolving. Now I know that lawyers will go to court, activists would also rise up in future to say that a precedent has been set upon this occasion that a Nigerian actor had unlawful carnal knowledge of another person through anal penetration, which is called homosexual conduct. Dirty as it is, unnatural and strange to our culture as that is, it is established that a man can rape a man. Now the question that you ask,
can a woman?
Yes,
I want to say a woman can rape a man.
Yes,
Women, even a woman, if it's powerful, either and if it's not powerful, maybe by coercion or threat. Like even in the Bible, I think Joseph could have been a victim of rape. If not
seduction.
Was seduced.
Yes, seduction is quite different from rape.
He was going to be raped and he fled.
He fled, and the woman held on to.
No, I think he only fled for temptation.
He could have been.
To contribute to that.
Yes.
Recently.
No, because you said there must be an element of penetration. So I don't know how a woman can penetrate a man.
Under present law,
Yeah.
present Nigerian law, rape is defined within the circumspect of a man-woman. Under present law, a woman cannot
Let's
rape
move ahead.
Itself, sir, is a constitutional defect.
But that's why we are saying that the law needs to
lawyers,
change.
everybody should address. Penetration doesn't have to take place. If you feel a woman's, what's it called, nipple. If you do that to my daughter, I'm going to get a gun and try to get somebody there.
You'll be committing a more serious offense.
That amounts to indecent. What you have said
somebody
amounts
getting
to
away with
indecent
violating my daughter's
assault.
son.
What he has just said amounts to indecent assault, not rape.
Okay.
And indecent assault is a separate offense.
Okay, let's move forward. Now that it has been established that rape, especially that of the underage and vulnerable people, is a serious crime, how should rapists be punished? Some people have advocated for the outright castration of anybody found guilty of the offense. Madam, do you agree with that?
First of all, we say, what is castration?
Yeah.
Is it that removal of the testes, or the removal of the penis, or both?
No, I don't think, in this case, I think it's the removal of the...
Testes.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't have to be that.
Okay.
There's what's called chemical castration, where somebody can be castrated chemically, and the full body will still be there, but it just would not be functional. And that's, the idea of removing somebody's testicle is just...
Yes, that's the crude way. That's the way it is done in this part.
Anyway, what I believe is castration may not even stop rape, because a man that is castrated, we find other means to venge his anger. Maybe decide to be killing with guns, or just so the power in which is in him that he wants he was using to rape may be diverted to a more criminal thing. So I believe keeping them in the prison, life imprisonment will be better, because I believe castration, because he's functional, is a mad person at that point in time, it may divert his zeal to another more serious thing that may not even go well for the society.
Okay.
So I don't actually believe castration should be the case. Although we have some countries, I believe in, I saw it in the paper, that in New Orleans, they are advocating castration for one Mr. Kayode that raped a minor.
Yeah, a serial rapist.
So, but I believe life imprisonment will be better for them. So
At the expense of the taxpayer. Are you considering that?
No, it doesn't necessarily have to be at the expense of taxpayers.
No, I mean being in jail.
Yes,
life
in jail,
imprisonment.
what they become is, they become corporate slaves. They have to serve and produce. Nigeria has not met its quota yet in terms of food production. These people should be locked up, the keys thrown away, and then you only make them to see the daylight whenever it is time to shepherd them to some agricultural field.
Yeah, but if you lock them up and throw the key away, how will you get them out to the field?
Well, literally, what I meant is this.
Okay.
We keep them in jail.
Yeah.
You bring them to the open field where they grow food for us to eat. So therefore, by putting them in jail doesn't mean at the expense of taxpayers. It means they are working for what would feed them, what would subsist them, and then to keep the rest of us safe.
Okay. Barrister Kayode.
But beyond penetration, I'm sorry, beyond...
No, don't take us back. Don't take us back.
Please, we are making progress.
Yeah.
You have only looked at one aspect of curtailing this issue through medical or chemical or maybe...
We've not even discussed that yet.
Yes,
We've not done that yet.
Yes, but again, beyond the issue of castration, let's also imagine that this same element, whoever they are, if the law doesn't take care of them permanently through life jail, because I don't support death sentence, but if the penal or criminal code doesn't take care of that altogether, there are better ways of engaging them. For instance, if they get away lightly with prison terms, you tag them, you keep a list of potential sex offenders, those who have been there before, and you make sure they don't live close to facilities where you have women or vulnerable men. You make sure they live far away from churches, from nursery schools,
But
from...
Nigeria,
Are you talking of Nigeria or another country?
Nigeria, that must be. If we are not yet there, it is not strange.
Okay.
I think the
and it is
judiciary
not
should be
wrong
alive
to
to their
advocate that we must be
responsibilities.
there.
That cases of rape should not just be thrown into the dustbin or should be prolonged for a long time, for long. That we should have fast judicial process, the life jail, if we have enough evidences, and those rapists should be sent to
Talking of
prison.
evidences, we'll come back to that later, madam. But
the position of the law in respect of punishment for a rapist in our criminal code and penal code is to the effect that life imprisonment, that is for criminal code, and for penal code, life imprisonment or a lesser term and equally a fine. Well, somebody said that whoever is found guilty of a rape should be castrated. That suggestion is contrary to the spirit of the law. Section 42 of 1999 Constitution as amended is to the effect that where the dignity of human being must be protected. What we have presently as enshrined in our Constitution is to the effect that you cannot act contrary to the dignity of human being.
Yeah, but you are talking of dignity. What about the dignity of the raped person?
The fact is that the law has said whoever has done this should serve life imprisonment, and
Sir,
it should be
the
there.
law-
So,
the
so
law-
sir, then more importantly, before you even give punishment to those people who are acted in rape, you have to look at their profile, the circumstances. Even in international law and some other things, we have sexual slave, whereby they will just keep them somewhere, and at the end of the day, they will just come there to do one or two things. But what I'm advocating is the effect that whoever that is found guilty for the offense of rape, that life imprisonment is equally good. And it means that the person will be kept perpetually in prison. He will not come out again to perform that act again.
What about on prisoners, on fellow prisoners?
And we should reform our prison. There should be a way of reforming our prison so that they will not be able to perform.
Okay, Barrister. Via, we have to go on a short break now. When we come back, the discussion continues.
Every day for Niger, as they do break even for Kokoro. Plenty people don't wake up to begin working for Nigeria. Farmers, them there, builders, them there, get people income, we there, teachers, we there. Some they work for office, others na factory, sports people income, on the first stadium. Some people own not to sing, everybody getting on. Niger people know they lazy, they not tired, they don't give up. Come rain, come shine, country people, let them go make country better. Nigeria, good people, great nation.
Welcome back. Barrister Bakare, how easy is it to establish a case of rape without subjecting the victim to further embarrassment and humiliation?
Well, it is not easy at all, whether you're in Nigeria, the US, or the United Kingdom. Again, rape is one of those crimes that is particularly difficult to secure conviction. Because again, one, within the Nigerian context, you have to establish one, that, again, there was penetration and you didn't give consent, but also in some courts, there is an undue placement of focus on the issue of corroboration, i.e., who was there, who wasn't there. But we all know that rape is not something that usually happens in the middle of the street where you have people. So it's a big challenge for victims to have to go to court after one first facing the humiliation of being subjected to unwanted sexual harassment, and then have to go to an open court and have to explain and give all sort of graphic detail, all sort of information about their own private and sexual life. And this is one of the constraints of why women and victims tend not to come forward to report the issue of rape. So the burden of proof in a rape case is very high. You have to prove beyond reasonable doubt, which is a very high threshold for anybody to scale. And for a woman who's already gone through an awful lot of victimization, to then have to come into that and then be put in a situation where she's more or less having to be the accused, having to come up with information to justify why the accused should be convicted. So it's a big problem.
I think I want to say that despite the trauma that women go through during rape, we should still encourage them to come out and report cases of rape, and those cases should be prosecuted for the larger society, because it's when we see these rapists go into the prison and well publicized that other rapists will stop that act.
And you want to say something before I ask my question? Okay.
Yes, sir. In respect of that, the provision of the law is very, very important in this regard. A victim of rape must report at a reasonable time.
How many hours after the incident?
A reasonable time, within a reasonable time.
1 week?
No, within 1 hour
24 hours.
Or 24 hours. And then more importantly, medical report or expert report is very, very important. For a rapist, immediately he must go and report, and the medical report must be ready. And more importantly, circumstantial evidence, because in these circumstances, we are not there. A lot of things culminated in rape, maybe because of the nature, maybe slum, maybe there's rain, or a lot of things. We have to look at it. Even the victim himself may be the facilitator of rape. Yes,
is that possible?
Yes,
indecent dressing.
No, it's indecent. We probably when we come to that, a victim, you have when we come to criminology and victimology, if you look at it very well, you will agree with me that a victim can equally be the facilitator of a rapist. So if we come to that, we will look at it. But the point is that for a rapist, a reasonable time he must at least report. There must be a medical report. Then circumstantial evidence is equally important.
I want to ginger your memory a bit.
Yes, sir.
You know the celebrated case of Mike Tyson?
Yes.
The girl that was raped reported 48 hours after the incident. And you are talking of reasonable time of 1 hour, 2 hours.
No, reasonable time depends on reasonable time. That is the way we use the language. But
Can a rape case be reported after 24 hours?
No.
Yes, absolutely.
It can be reported.
There's no single definition of
There's
what's
a
reasonable time.
Yeah.
So the circumstances or the factual elements will be taken into
Into
consideration
consideration.
in determining what's
in
reasonable.
my opinion, even 3 years after
The rape?
the rape,
Yeah.
it's still reasonable time.
Then how do you now establish your case?
It can be established circumstantially. Since all the destructible evidence of what do you call it, sperm and semen and all that, do not really have to be there. But with advanced medical technology, which Nigeria, I advocate, must embrace, that thing does not really erased at any time. Even the speck of pubic hair could be enough ground.
After
to
3 years?
It could be.
Get real, Mr. Abitogun.
Sir,
No, maybe a rape between a
the
junior
cloth-
staff
the
and
cloth that
the boss in the
Monica
office.
Lewinsky
Yeah.
wore the night
Maybe may not.
she had inappropriate contact with President
Yes.
Clinton did not surface until months thereafter. So
Okay.
the speck of pubic hair hanging from that man's body to the fabric of the lady could, in medical terms, DNA analysis, show
Okay.
that that
Let,
thing
let,
actually
let's move
happened.
forward a bit. Okay, you
I
want
was
to
just
say
going to
something?
say, for the benefit of women and young girls at home, the quicker you report an incident of rape, the better and more likely it is that police will be able to find sufficient evidence to prosecute the case. I think I rest it at that.
Okay. Talking about consent,
Yes, sir.
you said there must be consent.
Or consent or without consent.
Okay, yeah, let's say the woman has to say, okay, I'm okay with it. Let's go on. Is that what you mean? Before a man can go on?
No. Consent is an appreciation of a man, or you agree with a man.
Okay. No, but it is known. Some women are known not to enjoy sex unless they are manhandled or taken violently. In such a case, can the man be accused of rape?
The man can be accused of rape, even in
And
terms
you
of
know here in Nigeria they say
in terms of prostitution. Those people who normally market, if the ingredients of rape is there, is still rape. The fact
despite the fact that the woman wants it that way.
yes, despite the fact that the prospective person is going there is going to pay, at times there may still be rape if the element of rape is there. But what I'm trying to put across is the fact that a victim of rape can equally cause it. Familiarization brings a kind of emotion.
Contempt, yeah.
Emotion. If you are familiar with a person, and in such a way, maybe there is rain, there is disaster, crowded room, darkness, or what have you, and the victim knows that she has not to pass that particular place at that particular hour, and maybe they have been maybe they know that very well at this hour of the time the victim will pass that place. So then the way and manner the victim dress is another problem. You see some people, I read on the Facebook in Lagos, there was a package. The way they dress nakedly or whatsoever is a kind of facilitator. We call it precipitation. It is a way and method of saying, please,
Come and rape me.
come and rape me. So if you this way, we have women who that doesn't have virtue
Sir,
at all.
Okay.
in
I'm
sorry.
any society,
If you
when
look at some of our if you look at some of our entertainment industry
I'm
very
sorry.
well, you will
No,
agree with me.
no.
nobody can agree with that.
No.
Because
Okay, hold on,
in a
Mr.
society,
Hold on.
sir, where
Let's-
men are
let's
always
allow-
eager
let's
to
allow
enslave
Barrister
their
Bakare to
women,
have his say.
You tell them what to wear. This is not a Sharia country or Afghanistan or any of
But
these
all the
crazy
same,
place where you find
women
Louis
should
telling
not
women what they should wear.
expose
their
If they
body.
want to wear
Invite
that
some-
and they are comfortable in it,
No.
so be it. It
It's-
cannot be
no.
thing
In
for
Nigerian
rape.
context, in
No.
our culture, there are some parts women should not expose, except to your husband.
Is
So
that
when you
expressly
do
stated in
that,
our constitution?
it's in the culture and the tradition, and we value tradition and culture in this country.
This
So we
culture
should
you are
not
talking about, man.
Expose
you
our
must
breasts,
remember that time
expose
is
our
worse.
buttocks
In palaces,
unnecessarily,
in
which
palaces
may
and
precipitate
yards.
an attraction
In this country,
by
women only
even your
had
driver.
their upper loins. They had
Because
their skirts.
we know the
Meaning,
composition of
in
men,
those places
men.
they dance.
They
were
are
not
easily
raped in
aroused.
this same culture.
So you should not tempt them. So we should tell our girls, our women there,
if you
that
look
they
at-
should be decently
If you
dressed.
look at
No.
if you
Ladies
look
and
at the
gentlemen,
profiles,
ladies and
It's a
gentlemen.
way for men to dominate women.
Hello?
Women wear what makes them comfortable, and I'm in support of that.
Okay, then that's
This
all
is
right.
not a Sharia society.
That's all right. Barrister Bakare.
Yes. I think it's important that we stress the damage, the huge damage that rape can cause, not just to the individual, but to their family and to society at large. I think everybody on this panel will agree that a woman or a girl has a responsibility a moral responsibility to dress in an appropriate manner. However, appropriate manner, yes.
Yeah.
However, under no circumstances, and I repeat that with emphasis, under no circumstances can it be justified that a rape can be excused on a basis of what a woman chooses to wear.
No, we are not saying excuse.
No.
Or
I'm
not.
sorry. I think it's important
We are
we
not
send that
excusing
message.
rape.
It's
because
important that we send
the
that
woman
message
has
to women at
dressed
home that
inappropriately.
they have a responsibility to dress properly, but rape and the conviction of rapists should not in any way depend on how the woman dressed, or if the woman was familiar with the man previously. That is totally unacceptable. Civilized societies do not operate on that basis. And it would be a shame for us to subject women to this sort of double victimization, i.e. victimization in the hand of a rapist and also victimization in the hands of society that seeks to blame them for rape instead of the rapist.
No, we are not blaming
My
them.
learned
What we are
colleague knows very well that one of the defense to rape is defense of mistake that I don't know.
You don't know what?
You don't know what you are doing.
Well,
Okay,
even
you
if
know,
If you look at
What has that got to do with how a
the
woman dresses?
profile of the offender,
How can you not know what you are doing?
even in our jurisdiction here, in our environment here, we have seen a situation whereby somebody who is a psychiatric patient or somebody that is under the influence of alcohol will be chasing women around. And if he has the opportunity of doing that, he will go ahead and do it. Then